let's see if I remember how to work this show. I'm kidding. It's been a long 2 days, guys. I hate the fact that I'm switching secular jobs and missed what was it, Wednesday's show, and then Thursday I said I'm gonna do it at 6 p.m. The only problem is, folks, I decided that at 5 a.m. probably not the best look. So, with that being said, welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday-ish lacrosse talk show on the planet. You're watching Daily Dive. It is Friday, March the 28th, 2025. We are live on 12 on Sports, and I'm your host, Michael Carvelis in Guyton, Georgia. Remember to subscribe to the 12 on Sports YouTube channel while you're here for other great shows and live sports like the Box Lacrosse League coming to 12 on Sports this summer. On today's awesome show, Adam Levi of Lacrosse Matrix Podcast and other many hats that he wears will give us analysis of the best games this weekend. We'll have a special betting guest today, Captain. So it's a different Patrick. You'll, if you know, you know. And then, of course, predictions, my picks, and the crew's best bets for week number 18. Without further ado, we want to first let you know this show is presented by tickets.12onsports.com. That's tickets.numbers12 Get your National Lacrosse League tickets for less by going to that website. The website includes every sport, not just the NLL, and all your favorite artist concerts, not to mention Broadway and theater. Tickets.12onsports.com. And Adam, have you tried any Broadway or theater yet, or are we still just playing with wooden sticks?
Well, I just wanted to try out my 1990s sitcom-styled intro, and I'd be like, throw the ball and be like, "Hey, Mike, great to see ya."
Starring Adam Levi.
I've not gone to any new Broadway shows yet, checked out those tickets. However, Nikki and I are going to a concert this Sunday. Excited about that. Really, really excited. Definitely go check out those deals on 12 on Sports. Really good stuff there.
So I think I lied. I think it's now 12onsports.com/tickets. And I knew I was going to do that the first time. But it's the same thing. So regardless of that, it looks like the NLL draft curved cap makes it look like you're going to a Morgan Wallen concert this weekend.
I'm not. No, this was
country guy with the red hair
in the luggage, vintage NLL draft 2020, that special COVID draft. So that was exciting times.
Where did you get the lacrosse ball that you posted on your Twitter, like the one from the one from the 1800s?
The one from the 1960s. So when I went up to Albany for the game this past weekend, my dad's friend who played lacrosse at Princeton back in the day, he had saved that ball, or his brother had that ball, and it was signed and everything. And so, yeah, that's what that was from. I was staying at their house, which was very nice. It was his first box lacrosse game. He loved it, and what a game he got to see between the Buffalo Bandits and Albany Firewolves.
Oh, yeah, good Lord. I mean, Brendan Glasheen comes back to the broadcast booth, and all of a sudden he gets a thriller. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's almost as if it was written in the script, Mike.
Unbelievable. How you're getting good, I'm telling you. I got to see what the rest of the season holds for you. Lacrosse Matrix Podcast, speaking of Albany, had who on this week?
Will Johansson. Many people think the rookie of the year so far this season, although of late Dyson Williams has given him a run for his money. Dyson has been phenomenal. He's been clutch, but Will, with the caused turnovers, with the hustle plays, with that grit, tenacity, also the fact that he's coming off an ACL injury. But there was a great conversation. Go check that out on Spotify. Talked about what he was doing during his time that he wasn't on the floor, which was helping out the team with the video stuff. So that was cool. He does want to redeem himself on a challenge call. He was helping out on the iPad with that and got all 4 of the challenges that he was helping out with wrong. So, hopefully, if there is a redemption time, he can get one right. But the rest of the conversation was great. Talked about Robert Morris University, who made a March Madness tournament appearance. Almost knocked out Alabama, which would have been a thriller. So definitely go check that out. It's a cool conversation.
Speaking of Johansson being a video coach and the reviews thing, I guess NLL memes blaming Sean Lee Wallace wasn't the best thing to do.
I'm not even gonna touch
I don't.
that.
So was it the first year that he did it, or was it this year they had that problem that he was helping with the reviews?
That was last year.
Oh, so it doesn't even apply. Okay. I got you. See how smart I am. Preston's picks, has Preston made his picks, and if not, when will they be posted?
The picks are in. They're going to be posted shortly. All I will say is that I think that for whatever it is, maybe he thinks the Bandits are too unfun, but he seems to be picking against them a little bit lately. I don't know. I know that Bandits fans are going to say like father like son, but it's no, nothing against Buffalo and the Bandits. It's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and when a cookie crumbles, a baby cries.
Or the way the fruit snacks.
Yeah, there you go. Very good.
I will also say about Preston's picks, like you talking about him picking against the Bandits. I'm like, well, it seems like he's influencing you. You're trying to like father like son. It seems like he's the one saying, Adam, they're not fun. I'm like, you're right, Preston.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Bandits are 3-2 in their last 5. Offense has not been clicking the same way, only averaging 10.8 goals per game during that 5-game stretch, as opposed to 15 goals per game to start the season in their first 9. That's a steady drop. But, they are the Bandits. I'm not saying that they're in trouble. They are still, in my opinion, the front runner to win the championship this year, although the gap between them and the rest of the pack has definitely tightened up there. But, yeah, we'll see what happens this weekend. I think that the Buffalo versus Vancouver game could be the game of the week.
I would say we can go and start with that one first, even though it's not chronological order. Like, Del Bianco, I looked it up, and his career in regular season games at Buffalo is not the greatest. And I think he's got 3 games on the road, and like each time gave up like 12 or more goals. So,
well, I also think that he won a championship against
sure.
the Bandits in 2019, and ultimately that's all he cares about. So
right.
I think that. Yes, it's true. Sometimes you can have a bad game or a couple of bad games against a team. But I think what we're seeing from Christian, what we're seeing from the Warriors this year is very promising. And so it'll be very interesting to see what happens this weekend. But yeah, I think between the Warriors offense, you saw a great game from Ryan Martell, who finally had his big game of the season. I've talked about it on this program before, that he has not been having the year that he had last year, which was a career year, especially in goals scored. So that for him to break out, and then for Charlon Beatties and Keegan Ball to keep rolling like that, that defense, those young guys, those old guys, phenomenal stuff. Alex Stathakis also has a chance to make Vancouver. It's not even Vancouver history. It's this convoluted franchise history that goes back to a couple decades for Vancouver, all the way back to the Albany Attack days. But if he wins 2 more faceoffs, he will become the single-season rookie leader for faceoff wins in franchise history. So that'll be a cool moment for him, because we know he's going to win at least 2 faceoffs against the Milkman, who has been awesome. I mean, who doesn't love the nickname? Although I have to say, and I could be wrong on this, maybe Buffalo fans can help me out, but I don't think he has a milk sponsorship yet.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It would be like would it just be like the like those I drink chocolate milk and like that's it?
Yeah, I
mean,
some
spawn.
I will say, I can admit when I don't know something, and I am not a big. I'm not very knowledgeable about the dairy industry, so I cannot tell you what top brands are out there. Maybe Patrick can tell you in the next segment. Maybe he's a big milk drinker. So, but anyway, yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal game. Buffalo, if they lose this game, and I'm not saying they will, I think they're going to be challenged very hard again in that sold-out crowd, which we've just seen is another sold-out crowd for Buffalo this year. I think that if they do lose, then, you start to say, okay, well, are they just, taking their foot way off the gas because they're getting ready for the postseason, or is there something else going on? I think it's probably more the former than the latter. But Vancouver, it is a huge opportunity for a huge win, not only to continue to be in that playoff hunt, but also to extend their winning streak to 3 games. And it would be their second 3-game win streak of the season. And the last time that they had 2 3-game win streaks in the same year was 15 years ago, Mike. So
Wow.
Times are changing in Vancouver, and it's very exciting over there.
I was 13. Puberty wasn't even a thing yet. So with Buffalo right now, obviously they have the 11-3 record. You mentioned Vancouver's playoff chase.
Mm-hmm.
They're 7-7. I don't even know if that's true. Yeah, they are. No, they're 8. What is the record on them? It's 7-7.
They are 7-7, and currently also in 7th place in the standings.
Powerball. I called like the first game I saw for Del Bianco in Vancouver. It was like, oh yeah, they're going to be okay. Have you seen him make an automatic difference? Because I was tooting the horn for Aiden Walsh, said it's not very fair what's happening to him, even though it is fair at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, have you seen the difference? Because it looks like a completely different team for some reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's an energy that seems to have been injected into this club, and this has been hanging over everybody for now almost a year, it seems, because even there were talks and rumors about what was going to happen with Christian before the season was over. That was kind of when they started, and then immediately after the Roughnecks were not in the playoffs, then things really picked up. So it's been a long time, and there's been a lot of speculation. So, for that burden to be lifted off of Christian, to that burden to be lifted off of the Vancouver Warriors, I mean, it's hugely significant. And, it does, when you have confidence in your goaltender, and how can you not have confidence in Christian Del Bianco, immediately that defense, and especially those younger guys, those Reed Bowerings, those Owen Grants, guys like that, and then even the veteran guys, you can say, hey, I don't have to be pressing so much. I don't have to put this pressure on myself to overdo it. Now, having said all that, it's not like Aiden Walsh was not playing well. He was playing very, very well and wasn't getting he was starting to get a lot of credit for what he was doing, which I think is fantastic for him. Now he has this opportunity to learn from one of the league's best goaltenders, which is invaluable for his future. So I think that ultimately everything is working out in that situation, and it's a huge benefit to the Warriors. It's a huge benefit to the National Lacrosse League that this is all behind us now.
Love it. I keep saying, Vancouver, if they make the finals against the Bandits, if they make the finals, the guy sat out for most of the season, was held back most of the season. Now it's what a story that would be if he can just take them all the way. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, first let's get him into the playoffs, and then let's talk about the finals. But if they can make it to the finals, and they'll have to beat some very strong teams in order to even make it there. I mean, that would be one of the great stories that we've seen in a very long time in the National Lacrosse League, considering the full context.
Vancouver's remaining schedule, real quick, at Buffalo, obviously, versus Albany. Mm-hmm. Another tough one. At Toronto, another tough one, even though they're still trying to win games. And then versus Philly. That worked well, actually. Speaking of Philly, the game tonight, the Ottawa Black Bears, they just beat up on 2 backup goalies who were being fair. Hutchison and Hill had the little revolving doors in the Halifax game. Mm-hmm. Then suddenly Dylan Ward became the 50th star this year to have a baby. And now they're playing Nick Damu in the wings, so it seems like we're on the way downhill, but I'm they're only 1 game back at the Black Bears. So, what game are we getting here?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be a very interesting game. All I can say, and I think we've spoke about it on this program before, is that the Wings and the lack of offense that we've seen from them during their 7-game win streak now, they're historic. There's never been a Wings team with 7 losses in a row, and they have a chance to make it 8. And only, I think, 26 or 27 teams in NLL history has a team had a win streak of 8 games or more. For a league that's been around for 38 years, that is not good to be in that company. Shocking with the roster that they have, that offense so good. I know that traditionally and over the past few years, the defense in transition hasn't lived up to the hype that many people wanted it to. Nick DeMood has not been the Nick DeMood that people expected him to be coming in. But yeah, you got to think that Philly, I mean, a win's got to come eventually. I can't see them losing out. And it's games like this where you got to say, okay, now is the time that they're going to turn it around. Now it's going to all work out. But at the same time, I was really thinking that about the Toronto game. And not only did they lose that game, they lost that game by 7. They gave up 15, and they didn't even score more than 9 goals. So it is really tough times in Philadelphia. And considering these other rumors that are circulating now about the stability and the future of this Wings organization, not winning games and having a losing streak of this magnitude is definitely not helping the case of this organization.
I want to touch on Jeff Teat as well. Before we get to that high point, since you did kind of mention the rumors, let's say for the sake of argument, like, if they are true, the Wings aren't, their stability is in trouble. I'm not saying, like, I don't want you to sign off on that. It's up to you. But you've been in Wings games before. They're like, Pete Dowdy was telling us they were one of the first teams ever, even before the NLL actually got started. How big of a blow would this be to the league, in your opinion, if these are true?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that, and yes, the Wings were one of the original NLL franchises, and when I say original, going back to the 1970s, not even the 1987 new NLL that we're now in. So yeah, it's been a market that has had an excited and rabid fan base for now 50 years. And so, you know, for those fans, it's going to be very difficult if things don't work out. This is kind of out of their hands in the sense that this has all come about because of the fact that the Wells Fargo Center is not going to be the home of the Sixers and the Flyers anymore. They are moving to a new arena in a new location. And so figuring out where the Wings fit into those pieces and how that's going to work out is kind of where things have gotten complicated. But the reality is that, and it's very unfortunate, and I know that we're all so passionate about box lacrosse, but when we look at the bottom line and we look at how much money a lot of these teams are bringing in, or not bringing in, I should say, you know, you can understand from a business person's perspective if you are, you know, filling a third of the arena every time when, let's say, in a city like Philadelphia, and they have tons of other events that they put on there, not only the major sports leagues, but other sporting events as well as concerts and other things. So, you know, they could be filling that with other things, and they have to make that decision if, you know, subsidizing or having this box lacrosse team is really worth it in the long run. And I'm not a business person. I don't know what those numbers are for the Philadelphia Wings, but, you know, it's unfortunate that this move is happening in the very near future in the next couple of years because, you know, you would hope that, you know, they're, especially with all the changes the Wings have made from their perspective, from the GM change, coaching change, roster change, bringing in a guy like Brendan O'Neill, that there would be more time to build something special. So it's a bit of just bad timing, and again, just unfortunate to be in that kind of spot.
I appreciate your take on that because, like you were not prepared for that. Like, I want people to know you came on this show to hype up the weekend games, but I appreciate you kind of doing a little thing there.
I'm here to talk about anything and everything, Mike, other than the things that, well, that's not true, but you know.
Preston's got to watch the show too. Come on now.
Anything in the world of box lacrosse. I mean, we all love this game. We want it to survive and thrive and be successful. And you know, it's Let's just hope that it can work out with the Wings and that everything can be great because there's some great players. But I will also say that, you know, we might be looking at a very different Wings team next year. Let's put aside all that stuff because you've got Joe Rezateritz, you've got Mitch Jones as unrestricted free agents. You got a bunch of other guys, you know, the guys they just brought in, Mitch DeSnew, Chris Corbeil, Shane Simpson, all unrestricted free agents who can reject the franchise tag, plus a bunch of other UFAs who can be franchise tagged, but still, that's a lot of pieces there that could be moving, could be staying, could be going. A lot of uncertainty there if we're, you know, saying, you know, just looking at next season and what we could expect from this team.
Anything in the world of box lacrosse sounds like a spin-off of It Wobble, but whatever. Okay. So, final game I want to get to, and also Jeff Teat had a great weekend. I know we don't have a lot of time here, but just I had to put on the ether that he was awesome last week. If you want to
Well,
touch on that real quick.
yeah, and I'll just mention on that front, Jeff Teat, he has been, and I've written about it in my inside lacrosse piece that I do every week, 3 Up, 3 Down, but also in my
Yeah.
lacrosse culture daily by the numbers, breaking down Teat's last 6 games. I mean, 26 goals, 20 assists, 46 points. I mean, these are Jeff Teat numbers, and he wasn't producing that in the beginning of the season. And thankfully for the Black Bears, although they are 1-1 in their last 2 games now, but you're seeing other people contribute, and that's how they've always had success. When Jeff Teat is able to be a facilitator, be a scorer, but then you've got production from Riley O'Connor, when you've got production from Larson Sundown, and now we're starting to see Travis Longboat really assert himself into that lineup. So the last 2 games, at least offensively, have looked a lot better, and if they can continue to be that consistent, and Jeff Teat, if he can continue to be Jeff Teat, they could be disruptors and in that playoff position by the end of the season, depending on how things shake up. It's really going to be such an interesting last 4 weeks.
Callum Jones came back last game too,
and he was phenomenal. I mean, he's I don't know about you, Mike, but he's one of my favorite young defenders in the league.
He's just unscared. He's not scared of anybody, which is just it's incredible. Yeah. Finally, Colorado's Saskatchewan in Dylan Ward's back, as I believe got added to the active roster this week, so he's good. Shout out to him. I believe that was true, right? Okay, I know you get the same. Okay, regardless of that, Saskatchewan Rush, they are honest. We haven't seen them for a couple of weeks now, but they're one of the teams that like to grind it out. I do want to ask you about the record, because I found this to be astonishing, that Dylan Ward's 5-19 against the Rush in the regular season all time. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
What is your take on this game?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, I mean, if you look at any of the different metrics, it does not look like it's going to be a great game for the Colorado Mammoth. Yes, you have Dylan Ward back in between the pipes, but now you're missing Eli McLaughlin, you're missing Zed Williams. That is very tough offensively, and yeah, it was shocking to see. And I also wrote about this in my lacrosse culture daily write-up. When you look at, so first of all, the last time the Mammoth won in Saskatchewan was back in 2020, and they're 1-12 in their last 13 games against Saskatchewan. I mean, that is mind-boggling considering how good Colorado has been over the last 4 years in particular. So, when you have those injuries, when you've got that kind of history, not doesn't really look very good for Colorado in that sense. And I would say to add to that, Saskatchewan is so ready to put that game against the Halifax Thunderbirds behind them, because that was not pretty at all, and they know that. But again, more metrics that show that Saskatchewan has the upper hand here. This is going to be the 4th time that they're coming off a bye week. Unfortunately, when I was on Cody Jansen's Rush podcast, I said that they had done it 3 times, but it's been 4 times now that they are going to be coming off a bye week for a game. And then the 3 previous times, they are 3-0 off a bye week, Mike. So they like to play when they have some rest. So that is a very good sign for Saskatchewan as well. So as much as I love my friend Wooly here, I cannot say that I think the Colorado Mammoth are going to win this one. However, I think because of the history between these two clubs, because the Mammoth know how difficult it is to win in Saskatchewan, I think they're going to bring a good fight. The old Western rivalry between these two, they're fierce battles. They have 2 very, very tough, strong, aggressive defenses. So I think it's going to be a physical game, and I'm really excited for it. I'd also like to see, we've talked a lot about Jake Naso throughout this season. Since he's returned from his injury, he hasn't necessarily been the same as he was in the beginning of the season, but he's going up against Tim Edwards, who is also having a down year for him, only winning about 43% of his faceoffs. So I think that perspective of it, who's going to be getting more possessions off the draw, is going to be interesting to watch for a Mammoth offense who needs those supplementary guys like Thomas Vela to step up and make a difference. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. But Saskatchewan, if they keep winning and Buffalo keeps winning, you got to say that those two are those front runners for the championship.
Yeah, Jake Nace, so how's he feeling? Well, he threw a first pitch of the Duke baseball game. Hopefully he's okay now.
He did, and it was, almost a strike. It looked like it was a bit of a sinker down the middle. Dangerous to go down the middle like that, but I'm not a baseball player, and happy opening day to those lacrosse fans who also like baseball yesterday. That was very exciting. I'm not a Yankee fan. I know that's interesting, living in New York.
That was for the baseball, not for the Yankees.
Are you a Braves fan? I would imagine you are.
Red Sox. I don't like baseball anymore because of the steroids. I just don't care.
Yeah, that's fair. I can appreciate that.
I do. It was cool when the Braves won it by trading their entire roster mid-season. That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing what you do and what the Red Sox did. When Theo Epstein back in 2004, I'll remember that. That was when I had just crossed over from being a Yankees fan to a semi-Mariners fan.
Oh.
And
Big Poppy, Josh Beckett for me. All that stuff.
Oh my goodness, that series! I actually watched the Netflix documentary, The Comeback, recently, and it was amazing. If you haven't checked that out, go watch that. It was such a fun year for that Red Sox club, and to do that kind of history. But we're here to talk about lacrosse and
big baseball show. This show. Adam, any games you're going to this weekend?
Not this weekend. I was thinking about going to Philadelphia. We headed up to Rochester this next weekend. We'll see how things kind of pan out there. But for me, I'm gearing up and getting ready for the Buffalo Bandits championship run. So I expect to be in Buffalo pretty much throughout the beginning of the playoffs through the finals. So making a handful of trips up to Buffalo for each round of the playoffs that they move on. Not trying to jinx them or anything. I'm just expecting to be up there a lot. So, if there's a chance for a three-peat in Buffalo history, I want to be there as much as I can.
Thanks for your 25-minute interview. Hey, your time is our time, and all that stuff. Thank you, man.
Yeah, well, Mike, I love chatting with you. I love what you're doing, and I love that Patrick was so patient waiting in the wings in the studio, and I'm excited to see what his picks are this week, because I know he said last week wasn't a great one, but he's had some great weeks this season, so the two Pats have been given some great betting advice this year.
Love it. Adam, have a good day, man.
You too, man.
Bye. Adam Levi, everybody. So Adam Levi, I'm telling you guys, he's a legend on this show, and we appreciate him for opening up about the Wings and all his analysis. Adam Levi LAX on Twitter, Adam_Levi_LAX on Instagram. We're right back talking to Captain, aka Patrick, about the betting angles this weekend. Don't go anywhere. I know you won't.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, At MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I wish I had a wooden stick at this point.
I'll take that pass from Adam.
What?
Throw it over to you,
What year is
Michael.
that stick, man?
That's it's antique.
Jeez. I have no sticks. I have a ball signed by Kevin Crowley. That is it.
Oh, you gotta get yourself some.
You ain't lying.
You're back at the Georgia game this weekend, aren't you?
No, I'm going to the one April 19th against Buffalo.
Oh, get yourself a stick at that game.
Yeah, they have those little mini sticks I've seen kids. Might as well. Be fun. Welcome back, Daily Dive. He is Captain, aka Patrick, the other Patrick. It's funny because Pat Gregoire gave me, like, you were recommended by Pat Gregoire because he said, well, I can't make it more about Captain. I think that's a great point. So this guy's here. We appreciate you, sir.
Thanks for having me again.
Last time you were here, you brought a bunch of views. So let's hope it does the same thing this time.
Yeah,
All
it was
right.
embarrassing, but let's see what happens this time around.
Geez. That's fair. Ottawa Black Bears, Philadelphia Wings. In terms of betting, so you can't see cool bet odds. You can see every other book that we can, though, like the DraftKings, FanDuel, etc. Black Bears favored by 1.5. Totals at 22.5, and then it's Wings are plus money on a lot of books. What is your take on Ottawa and Philly? I personally think Philly is not as bad as people think. What is your thoughts on this game, betting wise?
You're definitely onto something there. I'm with you. Philly has a couple players in the top 5 for points this season right now. Mitch Jones and Joe, and the boys just can't seem to get a win together in the last 7 games. Nick Demude too, like Adam was saying, it's just not himself. Will they turn that around? You'd hope so this season for sure. And then you got Ottawa coming in, like, man, they look red hot because of their last 2 games. But as we were talking, both those games, they were playing against backup goalies. So,
yeah,
Halifax on Friday, they put up a bunch of numbers, but most of those goals weren't on Hutch. They were on Drew Hutchinson.
Yeah, Drew Hutchinson, yeah.
And then Ward not being there on Sunday. But yeah, I like the over in this game. Both teams have some fiery offense. 22.5 ain't too bad. Money line and spread's tough for me because what team shows up. Right. Ottawa's got a lot of momentum from getting that W against Colorado, but will Demude be himself again and pull through? But I love the over in that one.
No, I like that. I mean, 22.5 is not the worst thing in the world to hit. Now, tell that to Toronto and Philadelphia. Whatever. But, it feels like to me, the Wings, like the Black Bears, are just waiting to click. Like, the Wings, we saw their offense, what it could be. They got rid of Holden Cattoni. Obviously, he's in Las Vegas, but they're unlocking Brendan O'Neill, or at least supposed to be. I know Higgins has had his moments this year, but it feels like both these offenses, if they're on it against inconsistent defensive play, heck yeah, give me the over. I like that play a lot. It's not in my best bets, but I like the play.
What are you leaning for on that one?
Who am I leaning for?
Yeah.
My picks, I did pick the Wings it's one of those games where we're getting like you don't know what's going to happen. I kind of came down to this that I know this season I've seen Philadelphia be more consistent offensively for a longer period of time. I know you mentioned me before the show the Black Bears were, maybe this was their, even if it was two backup goalies, they were still able to get their confidence up or back her for the first time this year. But we'll see. Like I said, Wings are only one game back. It feels like to me that the Wings, like I said, have been better offensively for longer stretches. I'll take the reliable team. Even if Nick Damoud is a Panther City merchant, I'll still take my chances, and I love the over, like I said, as well.
Nice.
Next game we're going to get to. Well, speaking of inconsistent, let's just do the Halifax, Georgia game first. Because to me, it's like, golly. Like, talking about, like, Philadelphia, Ottawa, don't know what to expect. This one's even more so. Halifax, Georgia. Like, the Georgia Swarm are, like, always breaking my heart every time I pick them. Thunderbirds, every time I want to trust them, they bring in Drew Hutchison in the second quarter. It's like, come on, man. What is your take on the bets or in this game in general?
Well, we'll have to see if we're getting Warren Hill back. We're hoping he's not injured after that last game.
Yeah, good point, by the way.
Despite the goaltending, though, like Halifax just has much more of an explosive offense, especially when they're at home. So, down in Georgia, we know this is going to be a little bit of a quieter atmosphere. But on the other hand here, like Georgia all season for a team that's kind of been floating in the top 8 and, above 500, like they have yet to show me any sort of explosive quarter, any sort of explosive half. Like the Thompsons, like they're great players, but they're not getting a lot of help. Dobson's really holding his own. I think they've, at the beginning of the season, it seemed like almost every other game was going Georgia by 10, baby. Seemed every game was like destined for overtime with Georgia, but I don't see a spark in their offense. So I really like Halifax money line, and actually on a few books, depending on how you're feeling, especially with Georgia, taking a lot of games into overtime, you can actually find plus 1.5 on the Halifax side there. So,
that's impressive. Like, and so you're like you're right, because Swarm do like play a lot of close games this year. It feels like every time I watch them, they're in a 1-goal game. Now, granted, Leroy got screwed last week against who was it? It wasn't Vancouver. Who did Georgia play last weekend? Oh, it was Vancouver. It was 15-13 because the late goal. Am I kidding me, guys?
yeah.
Kidding me? Come on now. But no, it's a good point. And you mentioned that to me before the show about the stretch of offense that Georgia goes on or lack thereof, and I was like, that's a good point. I've seen even Las Vegas get on a hot stretch. Like, even with Lyle Thompson, where is the consistency? They're so busy trying to slow it down. They're so busy trying to push in transition. It's like, at certain times, like, where's the identity? And I'm a guy who loves Andrew Q, Captain Clutch himself, but it's like, where's he been?
100%. And I mean, looking at the stretch here, like we've got a great playoff run shaping up here. And I mean, Georgia, if you want to talk about some must wins, like they need this one against Halifax. They got 2 more against the Wings, but then they got the Bandits. So their end of season journey here isn't going to be easy. So we'll have their offense can kind of have a peek at that and wake up and say, hey, we need at least 2 of these last 4 games if we want to find ourselves in the playoff.
I'll say at least 2. That's putting it generously. Like you said, and like you had mentioned that they had floated around the 500 mark all season, like above it. They're 7-7, which is shocking at this point because they were supposed to be. They looked like they had kind of flipped the script to being a good team, and once again, fell kind of flat here. So if you had like a chrome to your dome right now, I know you picked the Thunderbirds plus 1.5. Who did you think was going to win the game? Do you think Thunderbirds actually pull out the victory, or
I think the Thunderbirds pull off the victory here. Okay. I also the 24.5 for the over under. Like I say, depending on who takes the net for Halifax, like we know Dobson, he's a solid goalie back there. So under 24.5 is a great a great look as well. But like I say, once we see the injury report, see who's manning that net for the Thunderbirds, we can kind of firm up that.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I believe the last person I talked to said that Warren Hill was okay, but it just, like you said, was striking for those that are betting the game that last week, if they didn't see it, he went down with like some leg or whatever, lower body injury. He came back in for one shot. That Patrick Wall was like, oh gosh, like on air was like, oh, I can't believe that. And that's when they took him out. Like, I was like, oh, that seems a little bit more than just one shot. That seems like you're actually kind of concerned. So we'll see how he is. So you think the over would be touchy though because of the goalie play?
To be honest, like I like the under on that game, but as long as Hill, is in net and they got that, the regular core going there, but I'd stay away from the over under if Hill doesn't start that game.
Good. I like that point. I'm gonna tell people right now, just Thunderbirds money line. I'm sorry. I have a feeling the offense is gonna travel to Georgia and take a little storm or swarm there. So
I like that.
right. So that game's on Sunday, I believe. This last game we're gonna talk about is on Saturday, which is tomorrow at 7:30. It's Vancouver Buffalo. I am shocked you wanted this one on the docket because it appears tough in my opinion, but then you look at it, it feels like Buffalo's the better team, right?
Oh, 100%. However, and I think you've touched on this a little bit, the last few games, especially when the game gets close with the Bandits, they seem to lose their identity. They seem to lose the system that makes them so great. And you start to see a few of these, individual efforts, and it just doesn't, it doesn't work in those, intense games against some good squads. So I still believe they're the better team, 100%. But with Del Bianco and net, do we see this one being a close one, or, that's the real question here.
I gotta ask you because I'm looking at it. I'm not saying I'd pick the Warriors, but if you do, maybe that's the plus 2.5. But like 2-1 odds just for a money line in the NLL.
Yeah,
when Vancouver's not a bad squad, that seems a little bit spicy to me.
100%. However, I'll give you a little bit of a heartbreaking history here. April 13th last season, I took a trip across the border to Bandit Land to see Del Bianco and the Roughnecks play, and I couldn't find my Roughnecks jersey. I was so excited to have it out in Bandit Land, but after the first quarter, I think we were already down 4-0. So I was glad I stayed pretty quiet there, but that was Del Bianco's last outing against the Bandits, and he gave up 14. Steve Fryer, I think, was the backup at the time. He came in for 5 minutes of the game. But 21.5, you see the total on that one. Plus 2.5 is the spread. I'm not shying away from that plus 2.5 spread. I definitely like the over. Few of the games Vancouver's had, Ball has put up 12 and 9 points in the last 2 games. Crowley, if he's back, he's putting up 5-6 plus points. So I don't see Vancouver getting dusted. I definitely like the over with 21.5, and I definitely like to lean to that plus 2.5 for Vancouver here.
I'm glad you mentioned 21.5 because that was one of the points I wanted to make, is the discrepancy of the lines. It's 22.5 on at least DraftKings. It's FanDuel, it's 21.5. So that's awesome, because I do think ever since it's only been like a 2-game sample size, but even the Del Bianco assist, you're going to get something. He's going to try to push transition. I know the counterpoint to that is, well, Ian McKay will be back on defense or whoever. I don't know, man, because Cooper Perkins came on the show and said the Seals were able to start running on them. And Warriors with Del Bianco are going to like to run, so that could be a recipe for maybe a shootout, actually.
100%. And, I love seeing that quick reaction from Del Bianco to get it up on transition. Amazing. If they can get the guys out the door in time, we're going to see a couple transition goals for sure from the Warriors. That's why, again, I like that plus 2.5.
And one of the things, like you said in the close game, if it does, like, if the ball does, for the sake of argument, die in sticks here, like Del Bianco against Georgia, I think, like made some. That game was like 15-13. It seems like Warriors, they were in control, but Georgia had a chance to come back, and Del Bianco made some circus saves. I'm like, oh my God, he's back.
Oh yeah, and he feeds off a crowd too, big time. Like I say, last year wasn't so good for me and him in Bandit Land, but I think this time around we're going to see a better Dell for sure.
Kermalowski and against John Tavares is a heck of a coaching matchup too.
Yeah, and another small little tidbit is you got the Cordingley brothers against each other.
Oh, that's now it was a Troy and
Ted.
Okay, love the tease there.
Yeah, so
they're not twins, are they? Oh, that shows my lack of knowledge. Good Lord.
Oh, great question. I'll have to do a little bit of digging there.
So, do you think Buffalo wins the game?
Yeah, I think Buffalo wins it. Despite their struggles and that overtime loss last week in Albany, I think they come out strong. They come out hungry. They take the win, but I think she's going to be a close one.
I like the over. I like the close. Well, okay. So real quick before I let you go, plus 2.5 or over. What's the better bet for you? If you just you need money now. Like
I need money now. I'm going
ZJs
over.
If not,
I'm going over 21.5 or it's ZJ's all week, baby.
Hey, boss, just to let you know, I'm coming in this week.
Yeah. As long as that over 21 hits, baby, I'll be off all week.
Any what is do you have like a ladder you're posting on Twitter, by the way? For those that don't know, this guy's like a legendary capper on the Twitterverse. Yeah,
we had a few good lotto parlays hit this season, and we landed a ladder at the beginning of the season. Last couple weeks hasn't been so good to us, but we're ready this week to fire it back up and finish one off as we go into the March to May here for the ladders and the NLL playoff run.
See, we're not even getting paid to say that, but right, the March to May is on, right?
Yeah.
Soon we're going to be in the April to May. That'll be kind of fun too.
Oh yeah.
What is your game of the week? And then I'll let you go.
Ooh, game of the week. To be honest, I'm loving the Sass game for sure. Dylan Ward.
That could be goalie of the year winner right there.
Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a matchup, and I mean, Sask doesn't want to have back-to-back weeks of embarrassment. I know they had the off week, but that's a full week stew and thinking of how bad the Halifax game was. So, I think that one's going to be a very good goalie matchup, and I call that one game of the week for sure.
7-6 rush. It's happening.
Nice.
Thanks so much. We want to send our love to Max. Get well soon, sir. But thank you, Captain. Any shout outs or anything you want to do before you go here?
No, it's all good. Thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it. Love what you're doing. It's a great show. Keep up the good work, the hard work, the grind, baby.
Woo! Or DJs all week if I don't. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Stay safe, and I'm looking forward to your bets on the other side, by the way.
Nice. Yeah. It's going to be a good week, buddy. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Patrick, former co-host. I believe that was the first. So that was the first time he's been a guest. Like he is probably the first person in Daily Live history to be a co-host before he was a guest. That's a little Who Wants to Be a Millionaire trivia challenge one day, for the record. When we come back, what are Captain's picks? Or what are his best bets? What are my picks and best bets? Leroy is in there as well. Don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap it up next. You're watching Daily Dive.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
You need tickets to that next event? We've got them. That's right, tickets.12ozsports.com. Get you to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you can think of. And the promo code 12OZ or ROME gets you an additional discount. Don't feed the massive ticket corporate machine. Go to tickets.12ozsports.com and enjoy the show. America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Reminder, actually, I'm not going to show the graphic. Go to 12ouncesports.com/tickets to get the best tickets at the best price. 12ozsports.com/tickets. I will make sure I clean that up. I know the link has changed. I believe that's the link right now. Great programming here. Okay, it is now time for my picks after a brutal 3 and 4 week. Unbelievable. Just unacceptable to go under 500 on any pick'ems. Give me the Wings over the Black Bears. Give me the Seals in Rochester. Give me the Buffalo Bandits to beat Del Bianco and the Warriors. And by the way, I've changed my tune. Originally, I thought the Warriors. I went with the Buffalo Bandits instead. Give me the Rush to beat the Mammoth in a goalie showdown. And give me the Thunderbirds in Georgia. Kai the goalie. You cannot trust me. It's unbelievable. Frick, a.k.a. Ryan McMichael, said Vancouver 13, Buffalo 12 in overtime. I also landed on a 13, but I got Bandits 13-11, but I could see that game going either way, honestly. Alrighty, time to put our money where our wallets are, if you will. Leroy, after a 2-1 week, has the Black Bears to cover against the Wings, has the Seals to cover against the Nighthawks, both of those are plus money, and has the Mammoth and the Rush to go over 21.5. Wow. Captain is back with the parlays. After a 1-2 week, a week that he told me off air he did not like, it was true. He went 1-2. So now he come back, loved this week. He got the Nighthawks to plus 1.5. A little bit of hefty at minus 135, by the way, on DraftKings. Rush money line against the Mammoth, minus 158. Thunderbirds Swarm under 24.5. However, here is where the money might come from Captain's week. Plus 431 on FanDuel. The parlay of the Black Bears Wings over. Nighthawks and Thunderbirds both to cover their 1.5 spreads. And then the parlay also on FanDuel, best odds at plus 628. Another 3-leg parlay. Nighthawks Seals under, Bandits Warriors over, and of course Thunderbirds money line. And by the way, Bandits Warriors, I believe, over 21.5. I will fix that graphic before it's posted. So he's got Nighthawks Seals under 24.5, Thunderbirds money line, and Bandits Warriors over 21.5. Even though I'm sure he went around the 22.5. It's funny because FanDuel has 21.5, so I don't even know why I put that on there. But it is plus 628 even with the 21.5. So don't fret, and numbers are fun. Finally, I've also got a parlay, Captain. There you go. Surprise, surprise. Wings money line at plus money against the Black Bears. Give me Warriors, Bandits over 21.5. I'll exercise my FanDuel right there. Give me the Mammoth and the Rush under 21.5. That's on bet 365. Mammoth Rush. Couldn't find it. 22.5 will be all right. And then finally, my parlay, Bandits money line, Rush money line, plus 128. You cannot beat a simple two-legger for plus money. Inject it into my veins, or we'll be frankly giving ZJs all week, and we do not want to do that. It means we're having a bad midlife crisis or something. Remind you to go to Daily Dive LAX to find out updates about the show times at this point on the social media, or just check out the graphics and updates, etc., all the good stuff. You can also click the link tree in the social media bios to shop our merchandise, or go directly there at dailydivelax.creator-spring.com. We appreciate all of our guests like Pat Gregoire on most Fridays, Adam Levy every Friday, and even Captain or Leroy to hold it down whenever we need them. Thank you all, players, etc. You guys are amazing. But we hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Back to our regular scheduled programming at 1 o'clock. Same time, same place, 12 on Sports. This has been another almost hour edition of Daily Dive. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the weekend, guys.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.